Morning, guys. I am absolutely beat. Had a long night. But I'm gonna go for a walk. Haven't done that in a few days now. I've been busting my ass and I'm still losing weight like crazy. I dipped into the 230s the other day. It's been doing this a little bit. But they just texted me that they're dropping off some more material. That tarp is covering a whole bunch of sand. So they took off. They had to run to one more job really quick this morning. Then they'll be right back in a couple hours to start on this. Now I doubt they're going to finish today just because there's a weird storm system. Yesterday and today, it's like 80% showers starting late morning. And yesterday it just downpoured for hours and hours and hours. So obviously with this kind of sand work and being out in the open out in most of the back, they can't do it when it's pouring out. So it'll probably be wrapped up tomorrow unless it just goes super smooth. But they got to mortar all the edges and all the steps and all the facades. So definitely can't be raining. No big deal. Well, my hopes of getting this done today are dashed. It's almost noon and the crew's just arriving, so no way they're gonna hold out that much rain. But should be tomorrow at least. They're starting to bring sand back now. So there's a real thin leveling sand layer that goes down. That gives them wiggle room for all the pavers to get them perfectly flat and even. My question was what they do with the doors. Now, this is what I kind of thought they would do, and it makes sense now that they've fully explained it. They're gonna butt the pavers right up to where the door comes, so where that line is you see on the ground. And that's because obviously the screen and everything was not put in before pavers, so if the pavers were to the edge here, the door would have to be raised, and I could do that. I'd have to unscrew the frame on both sides. This whole thing would come out, and then I'd have to unscrew the support bar, trim the screen back, reinstall the bar up, and then reinstall the frame in. But all I have to do is paint that tan and you won't see it. So here's the first load, and this is how thin they spread it out just to level any bumps and stuff like that.
She excited about it?
Oh yeah, she can't wait. She's always wanted something back here.
Oh, this is going to look beautiful, man.
Got the leveling going on, spreading out the sand. Man, I'll tell you what, it already looks better just with the color change, just going to, a more natural color than that gray blue patio paint. All right, sun's out, hopes are back. We got 2 more guys on the crew as well. Starting to move the pavers using their little low to the ground wheelbarrows, schlepping them in. They're gonna start, as I kind of suspected they would, from here. So the whole pavers will be here and their cuts will be at the end. So that'll look real nice. And they just level it with this bar, just leaving barely enough surface sand there to wiggle where they need it. And they got a lot of cuts for all these support beams. And then the bull nose will go on all the lower steps and the front porch, which is the most important one. This one here will just be flush, and then just a little tiny step, but underneath the doors. You won't see any of it. It'll look completely flush. Perfect. Oh yeah. Especially once this gets washed, it's gonna look awesome. So you can see the patterns and the color differences here, especially as they lay the different batches down. Oh, that looks so cool. That's in shadow. Oh man, can't wait. It's cruising along. So the walls aren't completely square, and they're gonna have to do some just fine cuts. It won't look like it because these are pretty good. This corner will be priority, and everything will be straight out the way back. That's what's important. So it cuts along there, who cares? Sweet. Making real good progress. We're about a quarter of the way done with the total job. They're gonna finish laying straight out. They've already got sand laid to the left. It's probably all we'll get done today. Haven't started the front at all. And then this goes way to the right. So that'll be tomorrow. I tried to help, but I don't know where all the different stacks have to go for them laying the different patterns. So my buddy Yo, he's the owner of the company. He's a cigar guy, that's how I met him. So I'm gonna make him up a sampler here when he's done. Got a Mbambe Vintage Reserve, San Cristobal, Undercrown, Camacho Triple Maduro, Florida Sun-Grown, Hiram and Solomon, Filiger, one of the Wise Man Maduro Lanceros for Privada Cigar Club, and a couple of the brand new Marrero Aquaticos. Hope he likes them. You got it wrapping around almost all the way to the right. Well, we're about 40% done. Still got 6 pallets out of the 11. Just wrapped up. Nope. Maybe 35%. Looking real good though. Very cool. So this big box just showed up. Alexa, turn on the dining room light. And I had completely forgotten about this. This was a late night purchase. It was a spur of the moment thing. It's actually just part of the shipment. This is a small one. Guess what's in here? Yup, more Atmos speakers. Alexa, turn on the living room lights. So, as you guys know, if you've watched my other setup, I've got the 2 Atmos speakers installed, and they're installed in the proper front position, in the seating position there against the wall. These are exactly where they need to be as far as forward throw. Now, the next 2 pair you install technically have to be equally behind the seating position. So that would be obviously behind that wall. I can't do that. But you know what? I just want more. So because something else happened, I'm gonna put 2 more in right up against the wall. So it'll be pretty much directly overhead, just a few inches behind the seating position. So it's gonna be better than this. It won't be as good as possible, but it'll be better than this. And for 80 bucks for 2 of these speakers, you're stupid not to if you've got the extra channels available. And in a few days, I will have the extra channels available because I upgraded to 1 model down from the top of the line Yamaha receivers. I went with the Vintage series, and this is now a 9-channel of amplification receiver. So I'm able to do everything. I maxed out here with a 7.2, the new one's a 9.2. I've only got the main 5 channels of surround. I don't have the space to do dedicated rears, so that leaves me 4 that I can put up top. And I didn't do that for Atmos. Believe me, Atmos is like, I mean, it's cool, but it's so underutilized. In movies, seriously, you might have 5% of the movie even noticeable. It's really frustrating how studios aren't taking advantage of it. The potential is there. It can be really cool. The demos are fantastic. There's a few showcase movies out there with certain scenes that do it really well. But as far as an entire movie or the majority of movies coming out, it's gonna be years. It's gonna take until this is mainstream or there are enough sound bars out there that do it very well and people get interested in it. But right now, this is fringe and it's barely noticeable in the marketplace. So don't go out and spend a bunch of money just to get Atmos. Trust me. If you have the capability, throw it in, why not? But don't go out of your way. That's my suggestion. But I upgraded for 2 main reasons, one much more important than the other. One, it has double the amplification power per channel, and that wasn't the main reason. These are extremely efficient clip speakers. It will help the other channels though, because I have to push the other channels to balance it for these because they're so much more efficient. That will give me more volume to play with to balance the rest of the system. And it will give more headroom to the main stage. I don't max this out. This can play stupid loud, painfully loud, especially in a not fully treated room. So I play it at reference movie level. Same thing you get if you go to a really nice theater. That's how loud I like it. No more. But the main reason is because the normal receivers that you get at Best Buy or online, like I did, for $200, $300, $400, the RX series, the TSR series, that kind of thing. The DACs in them are good. They're Burr Brown DACs. They're mainstream now. They used to be like the high-end standard years ago. Now they're mainstream, but they're not great. And if you need great, you've got to get the top tier stuff. And this receiver, I got the 2085, has the Saber, the ESS Saber DACs, and that is going to make a huge difference to the overall audio quality. So I'm really excited about that. It also adds a ton of other features that I may take advantage of later, such as pre-outs for all channels. The one I have now is a great receiver on its own, but it doesn't have pre-out. So if you ever want to add dedicated external amplifiers, you can't do it without a pre-out. You have to go to the top of the line stuff for that. And this has all that. So I can't imagine needing more. This one has 140 or 145 watts times 9. So it's got a ton of power. I'm not even tapping this one out. So I doubt I'll ever do outboard amplifiers, at least in this room, but it's there if you need it. But the DACs are the number one reason I wanted to do the upgrade. So that'll be here in probably a few days, and then I'll tackle this. This is like low priority. I'm just gonna set this stuff aside. Got to finish my parents' house. Got a bunch of stuff left here to do after I do my parents' house. I got the new coffee table to build, to replace that one that came a little scratched. Got the new door lock to throw on and configure. I got a ton of stuff to do. So this will be like last, but it's coming. Moving along really nicely. So the two guys that are left in the crew here are going to stay all the way until 9 or 10. That's our noise ordinance. They're going to finish this up just in case it rains. They need to get all this sand covered with the paver so it doesn't wash away. And they want to start doing all their cuts. What they're going to do is along the edge here where they've got short ones, they're going to replace those with long ones and then just cut the long ones so it all fits completely flush against this and they won't have to mortar anything. And after everything's in, they sweep the sand in and that locks everything in place, and they'll just stick a few washings to get all the sand out and you won't see any sand. So it'll look like this. You won't see any sand in between the pavers, which is exactly what I want. So they got a few more wheelbarrow fulls of pavers to just cover this, and they should get all the cuts done and back tonight. Won't touch the front till tomorrow, but that's okay.